Our 1991 Fish and Wild Game Cook-Off has featured some of the tastiest and best-looking recipes of all times, from those venison finger rolls and smoked turkey roulades to John's Bow Camp venison stew. Oh, and that classy home-style pheasant cheese soup. Herb-stuffed walleye was an elegant dish that would win any contest, but the wacky idea of fish pizza caught the judges by surprise. The stir-fried peanut partridge locked horns with squirrel burgundy and dumplings. Wow, what a contest this has been. But what are these contestants vying for? Well, the fun of it, basically, because all 10 recipes are award winners and all 10 contestants receive, of course, a copy of our 1991 Fish and Wild Game Classics cookbook, which features their recipes along with all of our TV recipes for the coming year. We'll give them each one of our brown camo embroidered Outdoors Club hats, along with a year's membership in the Outdoors Club. And for helping in this PBS festival, each will receive a limited edition print of Winter Trio, signed and numbered by artist Bruce Langton. And as a special treat, all 10 contestants and their spouses receive a weekend at the Sands Resort in Houghton Lake 1 month from now. Luxurious rooms with cable TV and all the conveniences, a game room with a fireplace, and a hot tub that's open year-round. The Sands has a beautiful beach on the west shore of Houghton Lake. Now, their weekend won't have any shortage of meals. John McKenzie will be serving up his great buffets at Coyle's Restaurant. Peeled shrimp, carved sirloin of beef, a huge salad bar, desserts, bread, soups, and a monstrous buffet of entrees. These prizes await them all. In the past 6 years, all the contestants have had the pleasure of meeting and cooking for Mort Neff, the man who created Michigan Outdoors on commercial television 40 years ago in Detroit. Mort passed away in August, a loss to us all.
You got a big kick out of Mort being a part of this contest.
Oh, sure. He was my hero. You know, when I was a kid, I started working with Michigan Outdoors 4 years ago. And I remember as a kid, my grandpa, he's 86, and I kind of put those two together. I mean, I love my grandfather very much, and I tell you what, I really love Mort Neff, too. I remember as a kid, my grandpa would sit me down in front of the TV when it was time for Michigan Outdoors, and that was our time. It was time for us to share. So it's like part of my family is gone, you know, and I'll always miss him, and it was an honor and real honor to get to know him.
Well, you didn't know Mort before the contest, did you?
No, it was the first time I met him, and I just couldn't believe how sharp he was and how hilarious he was back here, and we just chuckled the whole time. And he's just kind of a part of the family as Michigan Outdoors has been, and this isn't the first time my dad's been on Michigan Outdoors. He was on with Mort Neff years ago with the record wood duck, so, you know, it goes back years and years with the family, so it's kind of hit home, and we do miss him.
Well, Mort's still with us. I mean, I know he's still with me. His influence, his presence is felt. Mort, this cooking contest is dedicated to you. Venison is our final category. Mort would love these two dishes. They're not only delicious, but look at the names. Deer in the Garden, a festive recipe with lots of vegetables, and worms in the grass. Well, you'll understand it when you see it. Let's look at Deer in the Garden first, entered by Ron Butchart from Adrian. He knows what deer are all about in the southern Michigan gardens, but he also knows how to toss together a little of this and a little of that to come up with a winner. He isn't afraid to experiment in the kitchen, which is how many award-winning dishes are developed. The contender, worms in the grass, doesn't refer to the ingredients. Those are brown ribbons of venison. And really, they don't move. They're nestled in a bed of what Deborah Greenhoe from Greenville says is spinach spaghetti. But every now and then, a recipe derives a name from something it looks like. Well, let's let these two creative chefs tell us about their inventions.
Just made it up one day at home, sitting around, nothing to do, new wok. Decided to make up something, and there it was.
Okay, sort of a stir-fry type steak.
Yeah, a little juicier than the stir-fry, but it's venison this time.
Okay, but that's why you leave the pieces bigger?
I think you get more flavor out of it that way.
Just coincidentally, we come up with another title of a recipe.
Worms in the grass?
Yeah. How in the heck did you come up with that title?
That's kind of a...
I mean, we've never had a nightcrawler recipe here on Michigan Outdoors before.
I figured you needed some pizzazz to the title, so
Yes.
something with a little interest. Actually, it's a name that was handed down by my father for this recipe. And why he named it that was if you kind of look at it and let your imagination run, the meat's cut kind of thin and the noodles are green. Just a fun time.
How did you come to choose this recipe to enter?
Well, venison, it seems like a lot of times you end up with remakes of burger recipes, and this is a total original. It's made for venison, and the tarragon with the red wine gives it a real unique flavor. I don't think it's like anything you would have had before. And then the pasta helps absorb some of that flavor. And it's meant for venison.
I'll be darned. You have anything else to say, Ron?
I liked hers too. We tasted them back in the kitchen.
Okay. Did you like his?
Sure.
Okay, but
I liked all of them tonight.
Yeah.
the judges have vowed not to make this a tiebreaker. So they are going to choose. Let's go see what they did. Mr. McKenzie, we're going to let you have the first go at it here. Oh, no. 2 more clean plates. I mean, after all this eating, you still clean both of them.
They were both wonderful. They were they were good. I enjoyed them both. The spinach noodle and the tomato and the tarragon, it was just delightful. And but I did vote for the deer in the garden. I liked it was meaty, the sour cream, the pita bread, gave it a nice variety. I enjoyed them both, but I have to stick with my vote.
Okay.
Deer in the
Deer
garden.
in the garden. Paul Kestelut.
Okay, this was another tough one. I've always liked worms, but the garden-grown deer was good too. But I went with worm in the garden or worm in the grass.
Worms in the grass.
It was really good.
Okay. Well, so far we have a tie of these venison recipes. Let's go down here to our buddies here, our chef buddies. In fact, we're going to let you, Mike, make the first call.
Okay, my lips are still a little numb from the hot sauce, but I like that. He said he bought it in the store. I don't believe it. The worms in the grass were very good, but I'll have to go with the deer in the garden. Presentation, flour tortillas, sour cream. Kind of remind me of fajitas, but he went an extra step with them, and they're very good.
Okay,
Very
so
good.
we have 2 for the deer in the garden, 1 for the worms in the grass.
Tell you, I liked this one also. I like the way he did his vegetables al dente. Al dente means not fully cooked all the way. They're still crisp when you put them in your mouth, and that's why I like my vegetables, so they weren't overcooked. But you know that old saying, the dew kisses the morning grass? But me, my friend, I like the worms in the grass.
Very poetic. Very poetic. Well, we have a tie so far, Mr. Garner. So your decision here.
Well,
Bob has 2 empty. Well, he has 3 plates actually. Now this doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
He has a tortilla here.
Well, I'll tell you, it's as tough as a judgment call it was, too, because the worms in the grass is, it is truly a venison recipe, and there's noodles, there's pasta, and you know, I love pasta.
Oh, I never had anything.
But I'll tell you something. This deer in the garden recipe is something where those vegetables, as Pat said, they are so crisp and they are so nice. And so often you see venison they just cook it till it's like leather. And this, it's cooked very, very well. And with, I'll tell you what, this is going to do for cooking in a wok, this deer in the grass, what Lindbergh did for aviation. This is a fantastic recipe.
Okay.
Deer in the garden.
So that flies with Bob Garner. That means the deer in the garden edged out the worms in the grass. Congratulations
Oops, I'm
to
sorry.
both of you there. Deb?
Thank you.
Ron, that was a super job, but it was a tight race. And what titles? What titles? How about a round of applause for our contestants here?
We'll close the 1991 Wild Game Cook-Off with Ron Bouchart's Deer in the Garden, the venison category winner. Thanks to all our judges, chefs John McKenzie, Pat McGuire, and Mike, and Paul Kestelut, and of course, Bob Garner. Is there anything he doesn't like? Not tonight. Thanks to all our contestants, our underwriters and public television management, and to you folks who make it all happen. Stay tuned. We can use your help here on public TV.
If you mix these together, you have the worm and the deer and the